Is this the end? Will agents replace all of us? I hear many discussions about this. Where exactly is the AI world going, the business world going? Are AI agents going to replace us? I don't know. I don't like making predictions, but I am very excited about today's video, in which we are going to explore AG2, which is basically formerly known as Autogen, which is an agentic framework that allows to use agents in very meaningful ways. And I created a video yesterday about Captain Agent, which I will discuss about it in a few minutes. But I must tell you that I was very excited about what I saw today. I'm going to share this in the video, obviously. I think this is a huge leap forward. I won't say it's AGI, but it's very impressive. I was able to do pretty cool things, and yeah, I haven't been this excited about AI advancement since I stumbled upon Claude Dev, which is today called Klein, the AI coding assistant. So let's dive in. By the way, before we dive into this, if you're interested in AI related content, AI coding assistants, AI agents, and you haven't subscribed yet, please make sure to subscribe. Now that we got this out of the way, so some context. AG2, formerly known as Autogen, is an agentic framework that was created by the Microsoft team. You can find the GitHub repository in the video description. Basically, they released a paper about a new type of agent, which is called Captain Agent. And this Captain Agent is supposed to solve one of the biggest, I think, these are significant pain points in building an agent team. So first of all, when you build an agenting team, you have many alternatives. First of all, you need to decide which agents are you going to build, how many of them, which LLM are you going to assign, which model are you going to assign to each agent? Are you going to provide a specific knowledge base to each agent? What is going to be the description of each agent? What is going to be the system message of each agent? So these are decisions that you need to make. And these specializations and specifications of each agent are basically what the thing that makes agents so powerful. So today I told my wife about the video I recorded yesterday, and I explained to her about agents. And every time I explain about agents, I get so excited because of this specificity, the ability to build a team specifically based on your own needs. So let's say I want to write a cold email. I can define a copywriting agent, and I can give him a knowledge base, which is based, let's say, a book by Alex Hormozzi about how to create irresistible offers. Then I can define a CMO. I can give him a specific guidelines, and I can give him a marketing book, a very famous marketing book from one of the original gangsters of marketing, David Ogilvy, for example. And then I can decide, I can define another agent, let's say technical email marketing agent, giving specific instructions, etc. So this is why, and once you give these specific instructions to each team member, it's obviously, it's not obviously, but the logic says that it's going to yield better results. Now, the issue arises when you build a team of agents upfront, and then you don't necessarily need them for every subtask. So then there is a lot of noise. The costs go up, and also the speed of execution becomes slower, which isn't crucial in most cases. But still, you want to be able to extend and contract the size of your team dynamically. And this is why Captain Agent is so powerful, because basically you tell Captain Agent what you want to achieve, and he generates the relevant agents for each subtask. Now, another big issue with generating agentic workflows is the fact that sometimes, and this is by the way not specific for only agents, it's general for LLMs, they hallucinate and they say BS very confidently. And this is a huge problem because when you're conducting business or for any use case that you're using agent, you want to be at least, 90% or 80% certain that this is correct. And you don't want to validate this. Most of the times you don't want to validate this manually. Because when you validate it manually, you some people might say, okay, if a human is necessary in the loop, so why do we need agents? Which is incorrect, but I can get the logic behind this. So another thing that was added to the Captain agent, and it works pretty well, is a validation step. So every time the Captain agent receives output from the team of agents that he produced, he reads the whole conversation and then he decides whether or not he is confident or not regarding the output. If he isn't confident enough, he suggests or proposes a new iteration validating and fact-checking the output from the recent iteration. So this is huge. And I will show you in a moment how it looks like. These are the major adjustments, in my opinion, the major improvements in Captain Agent. And let's move on. Yeah, okay, so we said the auto building, the fact that it can iterate. Another major improvement is the fact that it can write code and it executes the code. So this is very powerful. Validation we mentioned. And it can use tools. Let me show you a few tools. Okay, so these are the capabilities that are relevant to any AI agents in the Autogen framework. So some are teachable, so you can extend their knowledge base. They have memory, they can generate images, etc. Some have, you can assign vision capabilities using vision models. But I want to show you the tools. So these are out-of-the-box tools that agents can use. By the way, if you want to read this later, so this is the link. Yeah, I will probably leave it in the video description. So you have different tools. So math-related tools, data analysis tools. So for example, reads a tool that reads a CSV file and prints the column name, shape, data types, and the first few lines of data. A tool that calculates correlation between two columns in a CSV. A tool that detects outliers. A tool that performs a web search. So these are more information retrieval. So perform a web search using Bing API. A tool that transcribes audio file located in a given file path. A tool that downloads and searches archive. A tool that scrapes Wikipedia tables. And a tool that also downloads YouTube videos, and also a tool that retrieves the captions of a YouTube video and then it can analyze the YouTube video. So there are 33 tools, which is pretty cool. But again, since this framework is able to generate code, the tools are they are important, but you can just generate them on the fly during the conversation. But if you want to have the reason why you need tools is because sometimes you want to create specific functions that you build them up front. So for example, let's say issue a refund, and you want to issue a refund in your specific software. Let's say you have Shopify and you have an API key of your store, so you want to create a tool up front. But anyway, you also have the code generation ability, which is powerful. So let's say tools, or I consider them here are some generic tools, but if you want to generate code that is specific for your business, you should build the tools up front. Otherwise, and I will show you in the example afterwards. If you just want to ask the agentic frameworks to scrape stuff, you can just tell it to scrape stuff, and it's going to generate the Puppeteer code or the Beautiful Soup code, which are Python scrapers, and it's going to install the libraries and execute the code. Okay, let's go back to here. So tools used. Now let's start with the testing. By the way, I spent, I think, like 4 hours or 5 hours messing around with this today, many iterations, and the cost, I used OpenAI, the cost was $3. I usually use Claude, but I used, for this case, I used only OpenAI today, so the cost was, as you can see, $324, which isn't a lot. I mean, I don't consider it to be a lot. Now let's go to the iterations that I did, and let me show you what I've learned. Okay, so let's see. Okay, so I wanted to test this. Oh, by the way, another important thing to mention is, I don't know if you know, if you've been following the Autogen framework for a while now, you know that you can decide whether or not you want to have a human in the loop. So human in the loop means whether or not you want to be involved in the conversation of the agents. As you can see here, always means that the agent, let me tell you exactly. So never is basically you don't want to be involved. You want the agents to do this on their own. Always means that you want to be involved in every iteration, and terminate means that you want to be involved when the agents believe that they have finished their task, and basically they say terminate, and they kind of show you their output, and then you can give them feedback, and based on your feedback they are going to pause, exit, or continue the iterations. So in this case, I said never, I don't want to be involved, and I just wanted a very simple, write a cold outreach email to Yaron Been, pitching him a rebranding of his website, of his webpage, research him, and personalize it. So this was the first iteration. Since I know myself, I know if the cold outreach is well or not. So this is how it looks like. There is the export summoner, which is basically an agent that keeps on summarizing what's going on in the conversation. He is somewhat of a facilitator of the conversation. So this iteration didn't work out well. I don't know why. So I decided, okay, let's do this a bit more. Like let's give a better prompt. So find information about Yaron Been. After collecting the data, point out his most meaningful achievements, and write a cold outreach email to him, pitching the rebranding of his webpage. Make sure to personalize the email. So this was what it yielded. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the first message, and this is the captain agent. He's basically building the team of agents based on his understanding of what is necessary for this task. So he decided we need a researcher which is specialized in gathering and analyzing information about public figures, including their professional achievements and online presence. We need a marketing expert with experience in branding and rebranding strategies, particularly for online platforms. And we need a fact checker to verify the accuracy of the collected information and proposed strategies. And this was the plan. Gather comprehensive information about Yaron Been, including his professional background, achievements, and online presence. Analyze the collected data to identify his most meaningful achievements. Use the insights to draft a personalized cold outreach pitching the rebranding of his webpage. This is the output format that we're expecting: a summary of of my most meaningful achievements, and a draft of a personalized cold outreach email. These are the constraints and conditions for completion. Ensure the information is accurate and up to date. The email should be professional, personalized, and relevant to Yaron Been's achievements and online presence. Here we had an error, but let's see. It seems there was, because I didn't remember there was an error, but on the other hand, I see that it did do some output. So let's just continue. Let's ignore the error. The juicier stuff is afterwards, but I just wanted to show you like the evolution of the prompts and how it affected the output. So it seems there was an error. So this is also cool, by the way. He's aware of the error. So it seems there was an error in attempting to gather experts' insights. I will proceed to gather information and draft the email using my own skills. So let's start with gathering information about Yaron Been. Yaron Been is known for his work in the field of e-commerce and digital marketing. Thank you so much. He's the founder of EcomXFactor, a platform that provides resources and insights for e-commerce entrepreneurs. Yaron has a background in business development and has been involved in various projects that focus on optimizing online sales and marketing strategies. He's also a podcast host where he interviews experts in the e-com industry to share valuable insights with his audience. Most meaningful achievement, founder of EcomXFactor, podcast host, and digital marketing expertise. Nice. So this is the draft of the cold email. Specifically, I didn't like it so much, but let's move on because this isn't the point. Okay, so what I did next, I felt that this was a bit generic, so I gave a more detailed prompt, but still I don't consider this like a well-structured prompt by any means. So find information about Yaron Been, scrape EcomXF.com, which is my domain, my e-commerce related domain, and then fact check the data. After collecting the data, make sure to fact check it. Our reputation is on the line, so we can't make any mistakes. Point out his most meaningful achievements and write a cold email to him pitching a rebranding of his webpage. Make sure to personalize the email. And this is what it generated. Let's move a bit downwards. And here, let's see. Look at, this is all the code that it scraped, which is amazing. And okay. So here we go. Let's go down a bit. Okay. Find information about, okay. So these are the agents that the AutoBuild, the captain agent decided to build. So web scraping expert specializing in extracting data from websites. Basically, the plan was use a web scraping expert to extract information about Yaron Been, have a fact-checking specialist verify the accuracy of the collected data, highlight Yaron's most meaningful achievements, craft a personalized outreach email, and use a quality assurance checker to review the entire process. Then, as you can see here, it generated the web scraping expert. Then it generated the fact-checking expert. And then it generated fact-checking expert. Where was another expert? Only these two. And the reasoning expert. Okay. So now, this was the first task for the web scraping expert. To begin the process, this is what the web scraping expert told the group. So to begin the process, I'll first focus on the task of extracting information about Yaron Been from EcomXF. I will use a Python script for web scraping. Let's write a Python code to scrape the relevant information. I'll then ask the computer terminal to execute the code. So computer terminal, I didn't mention it so far, but computer terminal is kind of an agent that is always appears in the conversation, and basically it always checks if there was code in the recent message, and if there was code in the recent message, it's going to execute the code. So this is the code, importing the request library and importing Beautiful Soup, and then it wrote the code. Now the computer terminal saw that there was code in the recent message. It tries to execute the code, but it failed. And then the web scraping expert realized that there was an error. He saw the error and then he decided to fix the code. Now there was another error, which was while the computer terminal executed the code, he saw another error, 404 error. So the reasoning expert jumped in and he said the error message indicates that the URL we tried to access returned a 404, meaning the web page was not found. It's likely that the URL or path assumed for Yaron Been information on EcomXF is incorrect or doesn't exist. To move forward, the first step would be to navigate to EcomXF.com website to find the correct URL or page where information about Yaron might be available. However, my access is limited here. Could you, as the web scraping expert, check EcomXF.com manually to identify the correct page URL for Yaron Been, or advise if there is any other URL? Now, the web page scraping expert said, I will perform a manual check on EcomXF, blah, blah, blah. Upon manually checking EcomXF, I found the correct page URL for Yaron Been. Now that we have the accurate URL, let's modify our scraping script to target this specific page. So it generated the script and the computer terminal executed the script, got another error. Then they kind of went back and forth. I don't want to make this video any longer, but they kind of went back and forth until the facilitator, the expert summoner, jumped in, and basically what he does, he summarizes the conversation so far, and he decides based on the conversation whether or not we need to do more iterations. So this is the output structure of the summary. So what was the task? What was the result so far? So the result so far is the attempt to scrape data from the website was unsuccessful. The web scraping expert faced several 404 when trying to access specific URLs on the website. Consequently, no data or achievements about Yaron were obtained, and thus the subsequent tasks like fact-checking or email crafting could not be completed. This is amazing because the agent is aware of what's going on, so this can mitigate the amount or minimize the amount of hallucinations and BS significantly. Now, the reason for the results, the primary issue lies in accessing the correct page on EcomXF.com. Errors or issues in the conversation. So this is the summary of the errors. So the repeated assumption about specific URLs without proper verification of web page accessibility led to several failed attempts. Adjustments to the script were made without confirming the accuracy or existence of the page structure targeted by the scraping logic. The initial strategy lacked comprehensive verification before attempting scraping, which could have included verifying URL via site search or checking for APIs beforehand. Amazing. Now, this is a crucial step regarding whether or not we need to validate. So basically, yes, no question. Do we need to double check? In this case, it says yes. So since it said yes, it's going to start another iteration. So the captain agent is now going to build another team. So this time it's going to be a web scraping agent. Let's see who else. Web scraping agent, fact-checking agent, and reasoning expert. And then he gives him instructions. Let's see. Kind of similar instructions to what it had before. But now the web scraping expert is kind of approaching this from a different angle. So to begin with, I'll attempt to scrape the website EcomXF for information about Yaron Been. Once I have this data, I will pass it to the fact-checking expert for verification. Let's start with the web scraping process. I will write a Python script to scrape the necessary information. Before proceeding, please ensure that the URL of the website is accurate and accessible. Here's a basic outline. So the computer terminal executed the code. No information was retrieved. This is what the fact-checking expert says, because as you can see here, the code output is empty. So the web scraping expert realized something is missing. It made adjustments. So basically said, let's execute this script to gain insights into the HTML structure of the page. And then the computer terminal executed the code, and lo and behold, we have the HTML of my home page. As you can see here, this is what is scraped, the whole HTML, which is pretty long, as you can see, going down, 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 going down. Now some links. Okay. Now the fact-checking expert got this output of the HTML, and it says the web page reveals content that Yaron Been is a leader of a team at EcomXFactor with experience in launching and scaling multiple seven-figure sales funnels. Before founding his venture, Yaron worked as a media buyer, managing $1 million monthly in an ad agency at Fiverr. Currently, he provides CRO and e-commerce coaching services, which is somewhat correct. I mean, I haven't updated the website. This is the information that is in the website. I'll verify these details from reliable sources to ensure their accuracy. So this is like the bottom line. Please hold while I confirm these details. And then the fact-checking expert did like cross-referencing. So he basically said about the first thing, seven-figure sales funnel. He said, this information can be validated by examining publications and forums discussing. This is a bit generic. But then it gave a few bottom lines, and eventually the cold outreach email was crafted. Let's move on to the next example. Because, okay, so in this example, I mean, the process was amazing. I love the fact that the agents kind of self-validate themselves and did many iterations, but I felt maybe my prompt wasn't good enough, because eventually I didn't feel that the cold email was personalized enough. So what I did, I went to the Anthropic prompt enhancer, which for those of you who don't know, this is the Anthropic console, and it has a few cool features. One of them is that you can basically improve an existing prompt. So what I did here, I took the original prompt and I fed it to the platform, and I got this prompt back. So you are a professional tasked with gathering information about a specific person and crafting personalized cold outreach email to pitch a website rebranding service. Here is the name of the person you need to research. Please follow these steps carefully. Scrape EcomXF for information about the person. Focus on finding details about their professional background, achievements, and current web presence. Fact-checking, identify achievements, and the email composition. Then it provides like an example. So this is a few short prompt, and then it ends with like a final guideline. So remember, personalization is key. Make sure the email demonstrates a clear understanding of the person background and achievements, and offer compelling reason for them to connect. So this was the whole conversation. I don't wanna, show you everything, but let me, because it's already long, but let me just see if there was anything worth discussing here. So first of all, the data that was gathered this time was a bit more accurate. So Yaron Been is mentioned alongside other professionals in several collaborative articles and projects, including indicating a background in customer voices, brand success, strategic business operations, ad campaigns, and UX practices. He's involved in brand building, leadership alignment. This is kind of 50-50, some BS, some not BS. He's recognized as a thought leader in UX tips. This might be correct, I don't know. But I think this is because it scraped the whole website and saw like a few blog posts about UX. And he holds a leadership role because he saw that my website says our team is led by Yaron Been, which is basically the About Us page. So here is the cold email. I also didn't love it, but I like the fact that with this prompt, the results felt more personalized and less generic. So what I wanted to do next, I wanted to provide even more detailed guidelines regarding the scraping. So I said, scrape EcomXF, my website, scrape the person's LinkedIn profile for additional information, scrape the person's YouTube channel for additional information. So it tried to execute this, and again, it generated the relevant agents. It wanted to scrape LinkedIn and YouTube, but it realized, the LLM doesn't want to scrape LinkedIn. So what was cool here, it wanted to do, it kind of strived to do this in a white hat way. Instead of scraping LinkedIn from the front end using browser automation, beautiful soup, it said, okay, let's generate a LinkedIn API expert in order to pull the data from the API. So this is why I was impressed by this kind of, not impressed by the white hat attempt, but impressed by the fact that it thought out of the box. I don't want to show you the whole thing because I think this was like the main finding in this iteration. And then I said, okay, and this is something that I often do when I encounter issues with web scraping. I often just use DuckDuckGo, which is a search engine that is kind of easier to manipulate, in my opinion. So what I did this time, I provided these guidelines: scrape ecomxf.com, look in DuckDuckGo for the person's LinkedIn profile, look up the person's YouTube channel, also in DuckDuckGo. I think this was in the next iteration. No, it was in this one. And basically this was like the main difference. And this iteration, which was pretty long, it took 6 minutes, and this is the conversation. I'm not going to show you the whole conversation again, but the cool thing about this is it really went back and forth. Let me show you. It really went back and forth with trying to gather data and validate the data. Let me show you some of the findings. So first of all, it decided to build a team with a web scraping expert, social media analyst, and a fact checker. Then it started the information gathering. So this was the first code. It didn't yield the results that it wanted, so it generated another code. Didn't work. So then, as you can see here, it installed Selenium, which is scraping web extraction library. So it said, great, Selenium is now installed. Let's rerun the Selenium-based web scraping script to extract information about Yaron Been. So it tries to scrape my website. It encountered another issue. Again, it decided to install the relevant package, and it installed it. Let's move on. This is the code. This is the code output. Let's see. And then it says the script has executed successfully and we've obtained some placeholder information from EcomXF. While this is a starting point, the specific detail about Yaron Been need to be extracted based on actual structure of the website. Now let's proceed to gather information from LinkedIn via DuckDuckGo and check for any YouTube channel associated with Yaron. So it went back and forth. For DuckDuckGo, we said, let's enter this query and manually navigate and verify any profiles that are returned. And for YouTube, he said, let's just look for Yaron Been YouTube channel in DuckDuckGo. It went back and forth. It encountered some issues, but eventually it was able to come up with results. As you can see here, again, it generates more agents, and I just want to move faster because I don't want to make this video much longer. But I just want to show you the bottom line. Let's move on. Okay, so here we started gathering information. So LinkedIn findings, profile, Yaron Been on LinkedIn. This is the actual link. Current role, Yaron Been is the founder and CEO of EcomXFactor, a company providing e-com solutions and growth strategies. Yaron has experience in digital marketing and growth hacking. This is correct. I have a book about growth hacking. Working with several e-commerce companies, he has held roles in marketing and strategy and business development, skills, digital marketing, growth hacking, and e-commerce strategy. Now, YouTube findings. Channel, Yaron operates a YouTube channel named EcomXFactor. It used to be named EcomXFactor. Probably the search results are not updated, but this was like the name. It focuses on e-commerce tips. This was correct. And the channel has substantial subscriber base. This is relative. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to make this statement more accurate, so please subscribe now. I'm guessing that if you've been watching till now, you probably have been enjoying this video. Then anyway, it went back and forth. It gathered more data. Then this is the cool part. It realized that there were issues during the conversation. So it decided to double check again. And basically, it said further verification is required for scraping and execution and coordination among expert roles to ensure task completions. So as you can see here, every time we iterate, the agents, the team of agents, they iterate based on the conversation. They realize whether or not the output is sufficient. If there were errors, it kind of validates again, which is amazing. Let me start concluding. Let's write conclusion here, just so we'll have like a placeholder. Okay, so my conclusion, obviously this is a work in progress, but I feel that this is a huge leap forward. As I said at the beginning, I feel that there is a lot of potential here when built correctly. So yeah, you need to provide probably better prompts. You need to build relevant tools for specific tasks, such as, for example, scraping a website. You can just build a tool. Connecting for sending emails, doing a lot of stuff can just be generated with tools. My plan afterwards is to check out the Crew AI library and see what tools are generated in Crew AI, because I believe, or in LangChain, because I believe that the tools are in those frameworks can always also be relevant to Autogen. But still, I love the fact that it can execute code. I love the fact that it validates the recent iterations in the conversation, and it doesn't just proceed with BS or hallucinations. So I think this is very powerful and can be very impactful. What else? Yeah, it kind of got me thinking whether or not we should keep on building with no-code tools such as N8N or Microsoft Power Automate, which are tools that I use often for building workflow automations, which are more like process-based, because it feels that AG2, or I don't know, maybe also other agentic frameworks, can very soon step into this realm and provide validated and streamlined workflows. Obviously, I believe that in many instances we will still require a human in the loop, but this feels like a important milestone. And I know I haven't covered agents lately because I kind of feel that LLM agents are a huge promise, but they are not there yet. But this new innovation kind of makes me feel that we are closer. I don't know if we will all be fired tomorrow, but it feels significant and I wanted to share with you guys. Anyway, long story short, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and obviously leave a comment below with your suggestions, feedback or criticism. And until next time, keep on automating.